Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in today. We got LX Dioblo Lubo Clan Wario in his Object 274 Alpha Tier 8 in a Tier 8 and 7 battle, and this is his 3-mark battle. Going to drop a lot of damage. And while that's cool and we will watch this, there's been a kind of recurring theme going on the channel lately, talking a lot about the repositioning, the don't overextend, where are your teammates, how do you get more damage, how do you, although we haven't talked about it specifically, but how do you 3-mark because you need a lot of damage and assist. And this kind of thing that's percolated a little bit, and I've talked about it to several other players, generally quite good players, the idea that sometimes you use your own team as a meat shield. It's not my favorite thing, although it is undeniable how useful it is. And you can talk about it not in the sense of you push out your minions and they all die for you, right, for the Emperor. That's one way to look at it. The other one is just to assess where everybody's going on the map and to use your teammates as required to keep yourself alive, to husband your own HP, to get shots, use them to get assists. Now you could actually do this, you know, a scout lives for this, right? So in the case of a scout, you're kind of out forward and you're not using your teammates as meat shields, but you are using their guns to get your experience and damage for assists. You might look at it kind of like that, as well as the other side. You're waiting for them to get out there, maybe whittle down the enemy, get you some spots, etc. And it's quite complicated because, like I said, it's not a case of sending out your minions and everyone in the game, including my team, is here for me. You can look at it that way, and sometimes it ends up looking a lot like that, and you can even talk to it like that on occasion. But I will tell you that the fact is, unfortunately, is it unfortunately? I feel like it's unfortunately, but that maybe is my own problem. That's kind of where the game is right now, and maybe it has been always to some extent at the upper levels of gameplay. Keeping yourself in the game so you can do more damage. Sometimes that requires, and I've put several videos out showing that, me doing it, some other people doing it. Sometimes that ends up requiring sacrifice of your own team. People who make mistakes, who are overextended, who can't get away. Sometimes just the variations of the game, it just turns out that way. You're in a position with somebody who's slow and you have an opportunity to get out of a bad situation. Why would you not do that? Well, you say, you stay and die. Well, I don't know. If you're 3-marking and you want to do more damage, or you're trying to get a win, or you're trying to fall back and bait people into guns, etc., etc., there's a lot going on right there. So we have Dioblo, and he is in his 274 Alpha. Like I said, he was working on his 3-mark. And he's a good player, very good player, and he does the 3-mark stuff. So let's watch as Dioblo works this battle. Good setup for him with Tier 7s and 8s. That's nice. He doesn't have to try to chew through any 9s and 10s. So he's going to move on up here. All right, let's kind of assess what he was doing while I was yapping and you guys are watching. You will notice that what he did not do was push straight down into the pit right here. That's a fun move. It can be a good move. It can be a game-winning move. It can be a move that sends you immediately back to the garage. And you can't really know until you break out into the open over here and dive in. Sometimes you can get a little SA if your scout did some good work, maybe sees who's really coming and who isn't, so you can assess as you move towards the pit right here. But oftentimes you don't have a whole lot of SA. So if your auto move is, and you will see me do this a lot, less lately, if your auto move is to go straight in there because you realize that's some of the critical terrain, then there are going to be games along the way where you just don't do a lot of damage and you die really quickly. And sometimes it can be a fun brawl in there and you can do some face punching. Other times you can dive in there and you can absolutely dominate. Well, what Dioblo did is he hung out for a bit to see what's going on, right? He was looking for any free shots from that little sniper hill. What you will also notice about it is he did not sit there. And this is the thing about the whole use your team as a meat shield, hang back, if you want to call it that, snipe, use other people for spotting, etc. When the really good players do that, they don't sit there the whole game unless they have shots. If it's productive, they'll obviously hang out and be productive. But if nothing's going on, they'll move forward, and you notice that Dioblo kind of watched what was going on. A little bit dangerous sitting there, yep. I think he realized it about that time. you will notice that they'll watch what's going on, and then they'll move forward if it makes sense, or they'll run away if it makes sense as well. So right now, we'll just pause it and kind of take an assessment, and Dioblo will have to let us know if any of what I'm saying is wrong or if there's any expanding information down in the comments, because that is very useful when we're talking about these learning videos and watching good players play. While I assess it, if they have something else to say, they chuck it out there, as well as the rest of you guys. You'll notice that he has a pretty good force down here. Some of them are hanging back. He's got a chieftain in the pit with him, so they own the pit for the most part. The north is okay, although it looks maybe overmatched over there, and the center is holding for the moment. You'll notice he's using this building. Let's just talk about that really quickly as we break stuff down. And this is fairly typical of using this position. The building is going to shield him from most of the guys over here, unless he comes to the other side or the middle of it like he is here, and then you've got the bushes. So you can use the bushes and the building to sort of protect yourself from those shots into your side. Obviously the bushes are protecting you from being spotted, not from the shots. Do I have to say that? Sometimes I feel like I do. It's funny the things people pick up in the videos. I'll just leave it at that. Alright, Chieftain T95 is doing his work over there. Dioblo's team. I haven't seen this, so this is just purely on the fly as we go. The north has fallen. The north has fallen, and that does not look good, does it? And somebody's saying GG. Right, the S51 says, "It's over, man." I don't know. I don't know. Frankly, I don't remember if he wins this. I think he does. But I don't remember. Let's find out. If you were in this battle right now, you would look at that north side and go, well, that's a bit of an issue. Now, somebody's bombing the TS5, and there's another TD or two over there, so that's okay. It's unlikely the Viper's going to go pushing in anytime real soon. But once those guys start getting lit, the guys that are in the factory can start shooting them, and it makes their life difficult sitting on the tracks. So that's why losing the north. And it looks like TS5 and the 100M1 have decided to fix that. Oh, look at this. We got a 3002 wandering around. How did he get in the pit without being shot or seen? That is going to be his mistake, though. Dioblo puts a thump on him. Notice he's moving up to go hold down right here. There's the Artie. Also a good idea to avoid getting Artie. He does need to clear this guy out. There's no sense letting him continue to light him right there and let the Artie just bomb away. So he's just going to come in here with the better armor and the better bully tank and just go after this dude. That was interesting. I thought he might ram him, but I wonder if he just didn't want to take the hit points. You know, if he thinks he can bounce the shots, why give away the ram damage to the guy? He'll have to let us know what he was thinking right there. He did get thumped by the GW for a good 226. That kind of stunk. And now he flows back out. One thing to watch in the pit right here, when you get engaged with a guy in the middle like that, and it looks like several of his teammates followed him, be careful about the enemy making a counterattack into the pit. Unlikely, it looks like, in this case, because there's just not that many guys sitting over here in the purple team. It looks like they've got, what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of their tanks. 10 is the Artie, and they've got 4 dead. So it looks pretty good for not getting the old counterattack here in the middle. He gets lit somehow right there. That was interesting. Not really sure what that was. Maybe the Panther, maybe the guys in the factory actually saw him, based on where the bushes were. A little bit surprised by that. So the AT5 dies. We're up to 1,256. And notice that he's got a decent amount of hit points. He probably wishes he got a few of those back. Not a whole lot you can do about the Artie right there. And he's looking for shots. So the middle is still a problem. The north, or is becoming a problem. The north looks like it's sorted. We'll see if that TS5 and the Su-100M1 can take it down. Black Prince is pushing in. Looks like he saw that and said, well, maybe the Black Prince will give me some lights. Now we're just hanging out in the middle right here. Notice that he's not pushing forward. I would agree that it's probably not really the time. I don't know what we're looking at right there. Okay, we're knocking down the building maybe. That was a solid building, I think. Or was he aiming for the one to the right? Not sure. You know, he's not pushing out forward. At this part of the game, I would generally, in my, you know, the way I've played for a long time, generally be pushing along the south right here and trying to light and get shots for these guys. When you're 3-marking or you're looking to carry, you're going to prioritize your health over pushing forward and looking for the enemy. So you want to wait for them to make a mistake more often than not. if you see an opening and it looks good and you can make the push, that's not to say you're going to sit in the bush the whole game or sit here the whole game. But you're going to wait a little bit, and that is one of the biggest things, I think, especially for the 3 marking or the staying alive or the doing as much damage. Patience is something that is sometimes in scant supply in World of Tanks. People, it's a video game, so people want to get out there and start shooting things. Is that Tiger going to come around the corner? There we go, right through that guy. Got to pull back because we'll probably get lit. Now that seems to indicate there's nobody on that center hill, at least not in line of sight with that particular position he's in. So that's nice. Oh, that sucks. We missed the Tiger. We're up to 1,580. We got a lot of work to do based on his final tally. And you'll find this a lot, actually. When you see some of these large number games, quite often a significant amount of the damage is done mid to late game. In this situation where you've kept yourself alive, you kind of know where a lot of the guys are. You've removed, in this case on the enemy team, almost half of the guns. Because when you make a move in World of Tanks, because the maps are relatively small, and you've got a lot of guns on the map, you tend to take the aggro, all the shots coming at you, and that just gives them more opportunity to shoot you, more angles, more dispersion decisions, RNG decisions, all of that kind of stuff. When you get to this point where there's less and less of these guys, now you can start kind of managing the angles they can threaten you with, managing your angles you can threaten them with, and it's not such a crapshoot if you make a move. Not nearly as much when the entire team is still on the map. So you notice he's up to 2505, right? Very patient, moving around, just looking for shots in a pretty good position. He can actually shoot nearly the entire map. The only thing he really can't shoot is the guys camping really far back on the 0 line because of that big ridge and all the way to the north. Everything else he's got an ability to get his gun on fairly quickly. Now his team is starting to move forward a little bit. Things haven't gone so good down in the south. They've lost a couple guys pushing in. You will notice that Mr. Black Prince got nuked trying to push forward. He does need to watch his 6 o'clock in case the enemy gets smart and decides they might want to push down to the south, because they have to know that the north is in big trouble right now. Sometimes even campers will start to see that situation and then decide to push the other flank. I've been surprised by that on occasion. You just got to watch the mini-map, watch what your team's doing. The Scorpion has fallen back a bit. He might even be a little worried about that himself. Trying to sneak shots on the T-69.
I'm in your debt. Much obliged.
It is interesting a little bit to me that he hasn't moved up through the middle right there and looked for better shots on the T-69. But remember, there's still artillery. There's also a TNH-105 in there. So we'll see how long Dioblo kind of hangs out in the sneaky sniper position right here. They are at a slight disadvantage with the fact that the enemy team still has a 1357. I'm a little bit curious why he hasn't been seen. I'm imagining maybe he's sitting up on that middle hill somewhere, potentially. Or maybe fallen back to the northeast into the line of bushes along the 0 column. There he is. Nope, that's the score. Yes, there he is. Yep, that's where he went. All right. So he went that way to try to shore up that situation. Now, let's just take a look at this for a second, because Dioblo is on the move, and he'll have to let us know, but it seems to me he sort of realized that the scout went over there, the TNH is in the middle, the T-69's in the middle, the scout just died, the Tiger 1, there's a full Tiger 1 that hasn't been seen. That is quite interesting. So probably the Tiger 1, Scorpion, and T-25-2 would be about the only thing hanging out over on this side of the map. Here we go. Go to a different angle on the T-69. Oh, there we go. We find the TNH. So the TNH is actually fallen back. Looking for a shot on him. I don't think we're going to get one. A little bit interesting right here. He's now, see, this is about the most aggressive thing we've seen him do right here. It's very possible he gets gang tackled and taken out. So let's see what happens. It is 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And I will say, you know, this, again, this is not a case of me saying, oh, good players hang out and don't do anything, and they camp and all that kind of crap. Sometimes you just got to take a chance and see what you can find. There's the artillery. You found that guy. Let's see if he starts working over it. Now we're just going to farm Mr. Tiger. That was very good for the enemy team to have one of their heavies sitting on the cap. That obviously helped them out. Now he's going to be able to farm some damage off this guy, so that's nice. But his boldness there, right, his willingness mid to now getting into late game to take a bit of a chance to push forward and try to start collapsing players worked out for him. What you'll find at this point of the game, generally what's left are your very good and very bad players. The very bad ones are camping and hanging out and hiding. The very good ones are, who knows where they are. They're going to do things like Dioblo did. Hang out, take shots, fall back if their flank's being beaten up. If they win a flank, they're going to flex back over. All the things you would do as a good player, you can expect the enemy good players to do. And at this point in the game, generally, right, every now and again, the medium players out there, we get to this mid to late area, and everything's, you know, copacetic. We're loving life there. But the usual suspects are your bad players, campers, and your very good players. So we're going to make a push. This is, again, I am a little bit surprised by this. The other thing you're getting here, though, as guys push in, is you are getting assist. And we've talked about this a lot in the cleanup phase of the game. The Scorpion's way over there, so really he was only dealing with this T-25 and the Arty. So that may have been part of the calculus. You're also getting the assist as you come in here. There he finds the Arty, and we're just having an old heyday with these guys. We're going to eat a shot from this dude or get a nice ram kill. You got to like it. We take a shot from the T-25. He gets lit, and we zoom in nicely, and we nuke that guy for 2 kills right at the end. Very nicely done. 5,192 with 4 kills. Scorpion, are we going to lob a shot over the track and kill him? That'd be epic. Do it. Fire. I don't think he's going to get those hit points, but you never know. Sometimes people are afraid of that one shot from the Scorpion, and they just sit there dancing around, or maybe the Scorpion drives up the hill. All right, man, thanks for sending that. That was great. I thought it fit in nicely with the discussions we've been having lately, and now that the elephant in the room, the old use your team as a meat shield. I know that there are people who have very definite opinions about that. As I said at the beginning, I'm not a huge fan of that as a general idea. As a tactic in the right situation, I don't think I have a problem with it. You know, there is strategy and tactics out there. Strategy and tactics. I also like this because Dioblo goes out, he plays that kind of careful initial, looking for initial shots, and I think this is really a blueprint for how this is done by the best players out there, is that initial position where they get shots where they're not overextended. Then a quick analysis, follow up to the next position. Follow up a good situation, get into a position where you can dominate a good section of the map and have shots in a lot of places. Pay attention to what's going on in the battle. If you have to fall back, do so. And then somewhere mid to late game, making a more aggressive move with the hit points you've kept and starting to clean up guys. And it's especially good if what you're cleaning up are the bad players that have been hiding. You're going to be able to get the extra assists chucked on there, a little bit extra damage and all that stuff. So Dioblo will have to give us any expanding information down below on this game. Thanks for sending that in. That is all I've got for today. We will see ya.